Vindi. Let's quickly look at how you can buy the M and sell the M, and how you can buy the W and sell the W. Okay, so this is gonna be a quick video. I don't want to make this video long, but watch until the end. I'm gonna select at least 5 people to have a one-on-one with me. All you gotta do is to drop a comment in this current video. So I'm gonna check people who have commented on the last video, and I'm gonna randomly choose 5 people to have a one-on-one with me. Okay, so disclaimer, we are not gonna be looking at harmonics. These are not harmonics. However, I'm gonna be using this tool here to quickly draw my M's and W's, but these are not gonna be harmonics. This is just going to be a W like that, where we are having this back at 100 almost. Okay, so that is just my W there. So we are not going to be diving, or rather looking at the harmonics and the numbers and all those things. No, this is a basic approach for someone who just want to look at things nicely from the dynamics of selling high and from the dynamics of buying low. Okay, so this is not going to be super rocket. This is just going to be straightforward. So do make sure, if you like this video at the end, do make sure that you drop a like. If you want to be selected for the one-on-one, drop a comment now before it's too late. And then on the next video, I'm going to randomly select. Hopefully you'll be one of the lucky people. Okay, so otherwise, let me just go ahead and draw these scenarios and explain. So we're gonna be looking at few things that I'd like you guys to actually pay attention to. So suppose we are having this, the first one, let's just call everything W. Like I said, we are not doing harmonics. This is not the harmonics approach. This is basic structural approach. So what I'd like you to see is that if we are having these W's here around this point, we're going to be having what? The resistance structure. And for that other one, here, if you're looking at this, we're going to be having the support structure. So can you see that? We're going to be having the support structure on the M's, and we're going to be having the resistance structure. So just the basic approach to this, you ask yourself is one question: do I sell high, or I am supposed to sell low? Which one is it? Let me know in the comment section down here. Do you sell high or you sell low? Okay, so obviously what you want to do, you want to sell high, meaning the highest point that we have in this case, it's this resistance. Okay, the resistance area or the resistance level here, this is the highest area where one could potentially look for sales back down. Okay, that is that of course aligns with the harmonics. If you're a harmonic trader, that aligns with the harmonics. So if this is your W of some sort, we're not going to use names like Cypher, Shark, and your Gartley and all that. We're just going to be using a basic structure for someone who's a newbie, for someone who is a beginner. Okay, so obviously with harmonics, you're supposed to do what? To sell around that point D. Sometimes your D doesn't have to be super perfect. It could be a little bit lower. Sometimes it's a little bit extended to the outside, but the main point is that you're supposed to sell high, which is like, of course, in sync with the dynamics of how you should do things. You want to sell at a much higher price and you want to buy low. So this is according to the harmonics. But what we need to do now is to add a buy on this thing. So if this is pattern 1, and let's call this one pattern 2. Let's say on pattern 1, of course, we'd like to sell around the, okay, but how can we now buy this particular pattern? If we see it, how can we now buy it? Now, we're going to dial down to something else. We're going to add something else into this structure. Keep in mind, I repeat, we are not doing harmonics. In case you're a harmonic trader and you jumped quickly wanting to see what, we are not doing harmonics. Maybe later on, I'm going to do a whole bunch of videos on harmonics. If I don't do them here, I'm going to merge them on the website and combine those harmonics together with other strategies that we've done. I believe there's over 80 videos on the website. There should be over 80 videos on the website, which is almost 3 times the videos that are on this channel. On this channel, of course, we have around about 36 videos, if I'm not mistaken. And then on the website, there should be over 100 videos by Friday. Okay, so there's more videos, there's more strategies shared. So if you'd like to see what I do, Go over to that website, create a profile, do all the changes and log in. You will be able to access that. Okay. But back to the business. Suppose we want to sell, of course, we want to sell high on this structure and we want to buy low on this particular structure. Yes, that is correct. That is how we want to do it correctly, because this is the highest area. You don't want to find yourself buying resistance and you don't want to find yourself selling support. And that's a common mistake that a whole lot of people make. They find themselves buying resistance because they're chasing price, or because someone saying buy, or they just randomly say Nasdaq is a buy. I still don't understand why people give such instructions that Nasdaq is a buy today. Okay, it's a buy today from where? Where should I place my stop loss? Stay away from people who hype you up. Trading, it's a career. Trading is not a what? This is not a game. Okay, this is not some stock fail or some stuff that people do. So if somebody says it's a buy, you need to ask, where should it buy from? And in case we are wrong, where should our stop loss be? Because people, most of the times, let me just say this, mentors, to be specific, you find that Vindi is saying it's a buy, but it doesn't necessarily say where we should place a stop loss. And then you find that price first goes to the sell side, blow your account before it goes to the buy side. Do you understand the buy direction? It goes straight. Let's say Vindi, because it's happy, he says it's a buy, ne? And price is here. Then this thing decides to come down first, and it blows someone's account, then Nigeria, or in South Africa, in Venda, or in Guyana. Then it comes back in that direction. Now Vindi, because it's a mentor, is sitting comfortably there, it comes out and say, yeah, close your profit. Close your what? Where was this thing before? It went down. And there's a possibility that it did what? It blew somebody's account. Stay away from such. Stay away from. I know I'm off topic right now, but guys, this is not a game. I need to stay that out, because you must be ready to be wrong when you are a trader. Be ready to be wrong. And if you are arrogant, you're gonna see fire. You're gonna see fire. So make sure that in 2020 you are not doing such mistakes. You are not following such noise where people are just randomly saying it's a buy. Because be ready to be wrong in case you say that, okay, yes, it's a buy, but where should I place my stop loss in case it doesn't buy, in case it goes down? Because you find that it goes down here, it blows someone's account, it doesn't blow Vindi's account, and then it goes back up. And then now Vindi, when it's in profit, it says close profit. Already you've blown. When what profits are you closing? Stay away from such noise. Okay, back to the game. We want to sell D, as I said. I digressed, sorry about it. And we want to buy that because this is support, this is our lowest part. Okay, but I've already done a whole video on that. Okay, but let's do the opposite. But obviously we're not going to do the opposite around D. We need to at least add another sort of structure. And that structure, pay attention, it's going to be a trend line. Okay? It's going to be a trend line, and this trend line, it's going to move from X to B. That is what is going to oppose the whole dynamic. So let me see if I can draw that. The trend line that moves from X to B, and then even here, the trend line that moves from X to B. So that trend line that moves from X to B allows us to oppose the whole shandies of selling here at D for this pattern. Okay, so in other words, wait for it to sell until it gets to the trend line. Remember the distance. If this trend line is too steep, it's going to be a little bit hard for us to find it, because it's going to be far. Just look at the geometry of that. But if the trend line is less steep, okay, which means one of these legs should be a little bit lower. So if this leg was like that, let me see if I can change that trend line also. Obviously the trend line angle was going to change. Can you see that? Can you see that? And then the trend line was going to be much further, because it's getting a little bit closer or a little bit flat. Okay, so this is how we're gonna oppose this, because now this trend line, as you come down from a sell here, okay, you're coming down from a sell here, where are you going? You're heading down to support. But before you reach another support, maybe it could be this support here, you find that there's another structure, the trend line, or you can simply use this particular area, which is B. Very important. It's either you look at XB or you look at B. So let's see if we can draw trend line. Here's our trend line there, our XB trend line, and we can draw another structure there, minus structure on B. We can use that as well to buy from, because after you've sold, then these people are going to take their profits. Maybe this is halfway, or maybe they are looking at other levels, or maybe they are maybe this was a breakout leg from here to there. There's just a whole lot of things that we can look at dynamically around that point. And as soon as this thing have sold from those who are selling at D, then we can be allowed to look for opportunities to buy. This is how you can buy and sell the W in the case of this first scenario, pattern 1 and pattern 2. Okay, but you're not going to buy at D. It's like you're going to buy at B. You can buy at B, provided that you are given the opportunity to do so. You're not just going to draw a line at B and say, I'm buying at B. No, you need to look at opportunities. You need to throw other strategies into there. That's why you must have an array of strategies if you want to make sure that you are a profitable trade, because these things are not, this is not these are not textbook examples. The market will move in whichever way that it wants to move. So make sure that you have an array of strategies so that you can select from that. Okay, because you're not gonna trade one thing and you wait for it and then doesn't come, then you end up catching feelings. Now you chase the price when you see one candle running in one direction. Make sure that you have something that you can look for. You know the signs, at least you follow the signs. Don't just follow the hype, follow the signs. If the market is showing you something, don't ignore it. If it's something that you recognize and it's something that you have used and back tested, be realistic. Don't go around searching for strategies. You read the PDF today, tomorrow you read the strategy. You haven't even tested that. You must test that strategy for 2 months, for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whichever period. Give it time, because if you don't test the strategy, the market will test it for you, and also test your patience. By doing what? By blowing an account. If you can spend 2 weeks testing a strategy straightforward, clearly you cannot, you cannot. 2 days is a lot for you to survive on the market. If you are not patient to test a system, you won't be patient to hold trades when they're moving in your favor, in your direction. That's just the whole truth. Do you want me to lie? I'm not gonna do that. No, 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 no. But it is what it is. Okay, so right here, you'd like to establish, I'm going to show you some few examples. You'd like to actually wait for this guy to come down here to this structure and then start buying or coming down to a trend line of some sort, particularly the XB. That's where you can now look for opportunities to buy. Okay, because this could be technically a retest. That is why I said there's a lot that you can add from here to there. That could be technically a retest. Why am I saying it's a retest? Because this CD actually broke out of this B. Okay, it broke out of this B and rallied up. So this is a technical retest. Comes back. There's a whole chapter on retests on the website, on how to trade them, how to see them, how to identify quick retests and all that. Go over to the Vindi website, you'll see that. Okay, so this is how now you can find yourself buying the W. Okay, this is how you can find yourself buying the W, because these guys who have sold here, by that time you find that they're taking out their profits. I believe harmonic traders, they look for take profits at 38, they look at take profits at 50, 61.8, somewhere around those points. Okay, which are technically these levels. Okay, which are technically these levels created by B or created by the XB trend line, depending on how steep the trend line is. And it's very important, guys, to know that this trend line is not always going to be useful, particularly when it's too steep, because you find that price doesn't go there. Maybe the trend line is like now outside that pattern, which doesn't help much. Okay, so it helps when the trend line is less steep. You find that it's reachable. Reach is very important. Okay, so that is how you can now look at this particular pattern and buy it. You want to buy low. That is why we are not buying here at D. We want a new low to be created, and that low now, with your past certain structures, this B, it's a low, we can buy from here back up, or this guy down here, the trend line, it's a low, then we can buy from that particular one. Okay, and also if we're to look at this one now, according to harmonics, you want to sell at D. Like I've said, with harmonics, sometimes D is inside, sometimes D is extended. Okay, depending on what you're looking at. If you're to look maybe at the shark pattern, you could be looking at something like that nature of that nature. And if you're to look maybe at the Gartley pattern, you're looking at something of this nature. So either way, the D right here, since this is the lowest point on this M, we're not doing the harmonics, we're just gonna call them M's and W's. In that case, you would like to actually take a buy down here because you are low. Okay, but back to what you are going up, you're buying up. Okay, so person will move a buy there, hide their stop loss somewhere, and then let's say they take profit somewhere around that point. Let's say the stop loss. Hey, I'm failing to get that thing. Hey, let's delete. Yeah, what? Yeah. Why is this thing super tight? We're using a tight profit, tight stop. So we know that harmonics, when they buy here, maybe they place the stop a little bit outside X, depending on the whole the scenario. Of course, your M's and W's, they're not going to be perfect. So you just have to use logic. That is why just use logic and use a whole lot of things. Use structure, use support and resistance. If you're a beginner, stick to that thing. Everything that you do, every strategy should have structure somewhere behind it, because otherwise you'll just be shooting blanks. So here is structure. If they are deciding to buy here and deciding to take their profits somewhere, let's say maybe at 50% of this CD, then we are looking at what? A trend line once more. There we go, they're taking their profits. As soon as they take their profits for buys, they are technically closing what? Buy orders. And that is why now sellers, they take advantage. Even the number of buys that were in the market, they start decreasing. As soon as they start decreasing, because now they're decreasing at a much higher level where sellers reside, that is when we see sellers also pushing price down. So if you like to buy, you'll definitely buy here for M patterns. If you like to sell, you need to sell high, and the highest point that you can have, it's either the trend line or the B point. Okay, depending on the orientation of your pattern. Does it make sense? If it makes sense, hit a like, and then I'm gonna dive into examples. I'm not gonna do a whole bunch of examples, because what I want you guys to do is to test these things on your own. Okay, test on various instruments, test on indices, test on Nasdaq, test on those. But disclaimer, I'm gonna say this: make sure that you are doing this when the market is sort of moving sideways. So what do I mean by that? Let me just remove all this and let's look at this one. Maybe we can find something. So if we're to mark this one, that one, that one, that one, and that one, and that is your W, you can see how this one have extended out. Okay, this whole portion, it's moving sideways. This is sideways. You like Vindi, then what do you mean by sideways? Consolidation. It's just doing this, moving in a box. This is where you're going to find the best setups. Can these things be continuation patterns? Yes. Can this thing be reversal patterns? Yes. Can this thing be retest patterns? Yes. Depending on the location and depending on the overall structure. That's another story for another day. Okay, so make sure that the orientation, if you look at this guy, you can see that we are almost at this highs. Okay, so if you have a structure drawn, let's say somewhere in space, you're almost at this highs. So what do you do? Obviously you want to sell high, back to the downside. But Let's look at the XB trend line and look at the B. The B is not too far away. The B is technically the D. So that is like, this is what we're having. The B is technically the D. So we cannot necessarily buy that B. This is why I love doing things randomly, because if I was to pick a perfect example, we wouldn't see this, and the market is not perfect, and we are not perfect as well. Okay, so that is why I love doing. That's why I don't do PDFs, because with PDF I was gonna choose the best example and take a screenshot, and the market doesn't do that. The market is gonna show you something that you've never seen in a PDF. Okay? So X and B and D, they're on the same level. What do we do? Ask yourself, is that level a support or resistance? It's technically a resistance for now. So it doesn't matter. XB trend line, it's still super high. Look at it. You cannot buy this and say, I'm buying. Vindi said when we draw an XB trend line here and it's a W pattern, I must buy. No, use logic. Come on. This thing is still up here. It's technically on resistance. Does that sound right to you to buy this trend line as much as this is the XB trend line? No. That's why I don't want the perfect examples. Doesn't sound right. Doesn't look right. Okay. Let's see if we can find another example. Let's change an instrument. Let's go to NAS. This was a nice one. We actually caught this one a couple of days back. Yes, this is going to be a nice example. We caught this one a couple of days back, the same day that I gave you guys the US 30. If you remember the US 30, I gave you guys the US 30, the same day that we caught the Nasdaq as well. Okay, so we're back here and we are looking at this. This is beautiful. Damn, God damn it. Mudim. What happened? Huh? Technology is now trying to, anyway, trying to expose your boy. There we go. Da. Okay, that is sharp. Harmonic traders, they're gonna be making. Oh, I see a Gatli pattern. Oh, I see. Fine, but it's fine. I'm a harmonic trader myself as well. But what about someone who doesn't want to go through the whole Fibonacci extensions and retracements and all that shandies? What do? Simply use basic structure. Here's the structure there. And then what do you wait for? Of course, you can wait for some sort of a rejection up there, or maybe a spike up, down, or whatever that you're looking for. As soon as we've established that, I see another level there that was created. I see another weird level. I see a bunch of levels around this point. Here's one of them. If you're part of the Vindi course, you should know how to draw zones, whether they are not visible, whether they are like in the middle of nowhere, whether they are extreme, because most of the times people, they know how to draw support and resistance if they can see these turning points. But when price is moving straight forward, it's not turning. They cannot draw zones around those. But if you're part of the course, you should know by now, at least, because those are the early chapters on the course. You should know how to draw zones, whether it's a hidden zone or it's a continuation zone, whatever the case might be, it's a breakout zone or whatever. You should be able to more that. Now, back to this particular guy right here. This is definitely resistance. And you'd like to do what on resistance? You sell high. So it makes sense to sell high around that point. One might ask, what do we sell from? Which time frame? It doesn't matter. Even if you go to 15 minutes, you're still high. Does it change? You're still up there. Does it? You're still up. So I don't understand why people, I get these questions a lot. Which time frame is the best? It depends on what you're looking for. Where, of course, with longer time frames, there's going to be a certain behavior. That is why the strategies that I teach, they have different entries depending on time frames. But when you look at the chart, you need to sync what you're seeing on top together with what you're seeing down here. Makes sense? So since we are up there, obviously, there's no way that we're gonna buy resistance unless if you're chasing price and someone is telling you Nasdaq doesn't sell. But if you're technical trader looking at this and thinking, oh, okay, I'm not comfortable buying this thing, it's up. That is why we bought it earlier down when it was retesting down here. We bought the retest. Was it a pending order? I can't remember if it was a pending order or not. We bought it down here when it was coming back down. That's what we're planning to do so that we can go up with it. because we want to buy low, we want to sell high. And now it's at D or this point, and that's high. Then we are allowed to sell. Even harmonic traders are going to be looking at it from that nature. But when are you going to buy? Now, the first one, the XB, that is where one can actually look for a buy. Or the B point, not the XB, the B point. And then now we can put the XB, X to B. Now, let me ask this question. Hey, Moon, would you wait for this thing to come back to the XB? You can, unless if it drops, then it can reach. If we extend this XB, you can see now we are outside that structure. We are far away from that. But it doesn't change the fact that if price was to hit this XB, you'll still buy that XB and probably combine it with support something. It doesn't it change that. But we can buy and sell this W. We can sell now. We can buy later when it reaches this particular area. But this doesn't necessarily mean, because this is not smooth like I've drawn it with the examples that we were using, or the demonstration drawings. This one, I have something in between. This is not the only structure that you're gonna have. There's another structure somewhere that you're gonna encounter, which I believe probably this is the 38 or just below the 38, where most of these guys are gonna be taking profits. Let me just check that out. It's just below. The 38 is a little bit lower than that, okay? But above that structure. So that is why I chose the B. The B, it's almost halfway, almost 50% of that. And most profits are going to be taken just after the 38 towards this. And as soon as it hits this is a zone that we've established. And we're most likely to see that. So sellers are there. It's the same W pattern. Buyers are most likely to push there. It makes sense? Let me know. I think I have to shut down this video. If you'd like me to do another one, maybe I will do a continuation showing you more examples. But what I don't like is to spoon feed a lot. Do make sure, as long as they've caught the basics of where you buy the W and where you sell the W, and where you buy the M, and where you sell the M as well. Did I show you an example of the M? Let's see if we can look at the recent. I don't want to use hindsight. I want to look at the current charts. I don't want to go back to 2015 and say, you see. No, let's use what we are having right now. Let me see if I can randomly find the M pattern. Okay, right. So if we're to dissect this one, it's not too perfect, but let's see if we can do it. Dang, not too perfect at all. And we are having this particular guy right here, because this C it's not flat. Usually with the examples that I showed, this C was supposed, let me just delete it. This C was supposed to be something like that. Okay, but the whole dynamics is that you should see some sort of double bottom taking place. In the case of this one, you can see it's back on the same structure. So obviously harmonic traders are looking to buy this because we are low. When can we sell this? Okay, the XB trend line, that's the first aspect that we're gonna draw. This is the XB trend line as we've drawn this. As soon as price reaches that, you will see that there's gonna be some sort of sell, maybe coming from, you can combine this with those who are coming from up there, maybe those who are coming from this, maybe it's your trend line, or maybe it's your old trend line, which you can combine as well. There's just a lot that you can do, man. And make sure that you're not too stiff. Just use logic. If you have a trend line like that, and then price tends to go back up, okay, depending on how fast it goes. If it goes sideways and then it goes back up, it's gonna probably meet somewhere around that point. If it goes back up fast, it's gonna combine this particular trend line that is here. Okay, and there's a possibility of one having a 3 drive sort of a shanties. Okay, does it make sense? It does. So that is the M. So if you wanna buy, you'll buy around here, buy the M. If you wanna sell, you will use what? Even the B zone, you can use it around that, or you can use the XB. The XB is gonna give you much better prices. Okay, and the B also, I want you guys to do the B. The B will depend on the entire geometry of this particular pattern. Sometimes you find that the B is super low. You've seen on the first example that we use where the B was super low. That's why you need to know. Don't just follow the rules stiffly. Look at whether this B is much lower or higher. Because if this is low, we cannot sell. But if the B is a little bit higher, then it's gonna make sense for us to sell high. So that's why I hate PDFs, because PDFs, you state rules, you say state this, but then people, when they start looking at the markets, looking at the charts, they don't see what the PDF was saying, and that hype goes off the wind, gone, done, 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 done. But make sure that you have structure. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure that you have zones drawn or your support levels and all that, so that you can hide. Because if you are looking to buy here, obviously you need to hide your stop loss somewhere outside. Okay, there. If you're looking to buy, this is where you're supposed to do it. And if you're looking to, of course, sell this particular guy around here, maybe you're selling it around there, you need to locate areas where you can hide the stop loss. So in the case of this one, this particular C, above C, it will be nice to hide the stop loss around that if we were to sell this particular guy after it bought to this point around C. But if this C was a little bit outside, then we're going to look for another level. That was very important to look, to understand risk to reward. That is very important. So if this C was somewhere up there and then you were to sell here, would it make sense for you? This, will it make sense? If you had the 1:1, that is a bad one. That is why I also have to check the risk to reward ratio. That is very important, because if you're only risking 1 to get 1, and you are playing, you're playing. But let's say maybe we'll find another sort of a shandis. Let's see if we can find another pattern. Another pattern. Let's see, where's gold? Okay, that's another one. Okay, this one's not super nice, because as much as this, yeah, fine. I want you guys to see something. I want you guys, let me delete this guy right there. I want you guys to see something. Okay, I want you guys to see something before it even forms. Can you see what the trend line is? Is the what? The XB. If this thing decides to give us a W of that nature, can you see the XB? Already I've drawn it before this thing completes. That trend line, which was broken. There was a retest, but it's not a nice retest. There was a retest that took place. If you zoom into lower time frames, you will see that the retest, there we go, broke, came back down. Not quite nice. Okay. If you come here, it looks like it just went through. So we know that as soon as this sellers up here at X starts pushing, they're most likely to push it towards what? Towards B, or towards somewhere around the breakout point. That is something that I didn't mention. The breakout point as well can be a whole lot of a thing. The breakout point, I'm referring to the level where this thing have actually broken out of. Okay, so this level, if we mark it like that, it's gonna be nice in future, the way price broke out. Because if you look at this, I think I'm giving away a whole lot of things that you can use. So if you look at this, just by looking at the breakout point, if we go back in space, you can see, let's see, you can see how this point is actually working out. So of course, the structure is not just forming because it's structure. There's something behind it. So we know that this could be useful as well if it doesn't go back to the trend line, or if it doesn't go back exactly to B. Okay, it can come back down to the breakout point of the XB trend line. That is what I'm giving. Okay, let me just shut this thing down. I think I've said too much. Yeah, let me just shut this thing down. But before I go, let me randomly pick people who commented on the last video, as I've promised. And maybe you'll be one of the lucky ones. Make sure that you go back to the video again, comment back on your comment, leave the last 4 digits of your WhatsApp number, and then send me a WhatsApp. That's how I will know that it's you. Unfortunately, if your last 4 digits are the same as someone else in Nigeria or in Uganda or in South Africa, unfortunately, whichever person that comes first, I'm just gonna consider them as the owner of that comment. Okay, so that's what you have to do. Go back. If you say that you have been chosen, go back to that the previous video before this one, and look for your comment, and then comment with your number, and then send me a WhatsApp. That's when I will know that, oh, the person who commented their number on YouTube, it's actually them who are sending me a WhatsApp. All that shandies. Easy, right? but I'm gonna be taking these one-on-ones tomorrow, not today, tomorrow. So send me a message now, because if you send me a message on Friday or on Saturday or in 2021, you might find that now my schedule is hectic. Tomorrow I'll be taking one-on-ones from the selected people. And then if you are there in 2021 watching this video in 2021, or you are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Vindi, and I do this thing not for fun. Yes, I do this thing realistically for a living. Right? Just to deviate a bit, when you do this particular shandies, don't go out and drink your profits. Now I'm about to preach. Don't go out and drink your profits. Make sure that your profits, they create other businesses. So that in case, if tomorrow they say in SA that trading is illegal, or in Uganda they say you cannot trade, then you will have something to lean on. And also, that will take off the pressure of you trying to make money every day. Does it make sense? Because the market won't always give you money. You must be ready to be wrong. And sometimes it can be wrong for a whole week. Does it make sense? Don't quit your job and say, I'm going to trade. Hey, trading every month. This thing is powerful. Do you know how? Let me just shut it down, because I'm being realistic and people don't want to hear this. And a lot of kids don't want to hear this. This is the reality. Make sure that you don't drink your profits or ball with your profits. Invest your profits. Start a business somewhere. Yes, starting a business is risky. That's life. Life is risky. It's all about taking risks. But calculate your risks. That's why there's risk management here. Eh? Okay, let me just select the people before I start making noise. Otherwise, if you like this video, hit a like, subscribe, leave a comment, then I will select you. Hopefully the robot will select you on the next selection. All right. Okay, right. I have the link here. All right. Let's just get the comments. It says the 61 comments. I'm going to start. I'm going to choose 5 people. There's the first one. Molise, Ike Ndovu. Pick another winner. Lungi Sim Keys. Let's pick another winner. Tato. Yeah, Tato L. That's the set. Kohli. Yeah, I can't. That's the name. Yeah, Kohli. Kohli. The last one. Okay, final. Asmat Ali. Okay, make sure that you send me a WhatsApp. Go back to the comment. So if this was a comment saying very fruitful video, God bless you, go back to that comment and comment with the last 4 digits of your WhatsApp number, then send me a WhatsApp with the same number so that I can verify that it is you. Otherwise, leave a comment. Next time, watch the next video. I'm going to choose another 5 people. Make sure that you do that by today. If you're watching this video, check the date. Don't text me after 5 days, because my schedule then, by then, remember, I'm gonna go on holiday, and so I might not be able to do this whole things while I'm away. So otherwise, sharp, that's how you can easily trade the M's and W's and all that shandies. See you guys on the other side. Sharp. If you're part of the premium members, see you on the other side. Keep on checking the new videos that are being uploaded daily. If it says that they're going to be available by the 31st of December, that means you have to stop there. Go back and rewatch on top. If some others say they're empty, check again. You will see that they will be uploaded. But if it says the videos will be uploaded or they will be available from the 31st of December, it means by the 1st or the 2nd, when you log into the website, you'll be able to access the entire content going down. Okay, so you'll start your year nicely. This is to allow you to back test and also practice everything from up there until where it will say they will be available from the 31st. They are already in the system, but we have like sort of limited access so that people don't watch everything, then they sit. We want you guys to practice everything and make sure that you have sort of confidence around those things. It doesn't make sense for you to watch the whole YouTube and you still don't know how to trade. Does it make sense? Let me shut it down.